Hello, Rich. Can you hear me?
Yes, Tim, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. Having a lazy Sunday.
All right, very nice, very nice. All right, now I'm not sure. Maybe Shesk can tell us or anybody else in the live stream. Can you hear Rich when he talks, and can you hear me? Okay, it probably will take a minute since there is a delay here. Rich, so what are you working on playing right now?
Well, currently I bought an Elton John, a sheet music book. It's at a beginner level, but I like his music, so I'm trying some of his songs out.
Very nice, very nice. So, are they songs you think you can handle?
Yeah, the level is not too extreme. It's not a lot of 16th notes and articulations. Just very simple, but it's good for my current level.
All right, very nice, very nice. So if you ever get a video posted, you can send it to me and I'll take a look at it.
Okay, will do. I definitely appreciate your input.
Oh yeah, anytime. Let's see. We have a question here. That one person asked, "Hey, how long will you be streaming? You mean tonight?" I will be streaming until about 9 o'clock tonight. So in about 45 minutes, we usually call it quits. Okay, let's see. Chef says loud and clear. John says yes. You can hear us both. All right, great. So, what questions do you have for either of us, either Rich or me? If not, I will ask Rich a question.
Do you want me to ask you questions as well?
Yeah, that would be great. Do you have any?
Yeah, I jotted some down today.
Oh, great.
Let's see. First question: what is your overall vision for lessons on the web, and where do you ultimately see it going in the future?
That's a good question. Um, what are my goals for it? My ultimate goals are to get as many students to be engaged in the channel and the whole thing, the website and everything, as possible, since that would extend the amount of piano students out in the world. So that's one of the main goals, but I mean, obviously, there's a road to get there. So obviously, I want to make videos that are more appealing to both the audience and the potential audience, the potential students out there who haven't found my videos yet. So my goal this year anyway, and probably forever, will be to reach the people that don't know about me yet, while still making lessons that are appealing to the people who have been around on the channel for a long time. Some things I want to expand into are I do want to do a podcast eventually. Probably what I would start doing is doing a collaborations. So I will plan on doing that this coming year. Things have settled down a little bit. So those are my goals, probably in the near future.
You ever think there'll come a point where your website is successful enough where you don't have to do in-person piano teaching, or you always do that?
I will always do that. That's a great question. The answer is yes, though. There will be a point where I probably will. It will be sustainable enough to not do the in-person lessons. It's not close to that yet, but I could see that if I do it for another 5, 10 years, or however long, it could definitely get there. And I wouldn't stop doing the in-person lessons because it gets me out of the house. I don't have a ton of friends, and I'm not like out hanging out all the time. I mean, I do have friends, but so it just gets me out of the house, and I think without it, I'd probably go crazy.
Hmm. Well, you sound similar. I have a couple of friends, but my idea of fun is just going home and playing piano. That's my ideal day.
There you go. Rich is a good student, everybody. But that's pretty cool. Let's see what we have here. Do you take notes of your experiences with teaching like this, Tim, and plan to use them for a future series of training or books? Do you take notes of your experiences? Um, Not really. I probably should. That would probably be a really good idea, Shesk. I guess the only notes I do have are these recordings of these videos, and I guess I could go back to those and watch them and figure that out. But yeah, no, I don't take notes on paper or anything like that. Nor do I plan on writing a book, at least not this year. I might write an ebook though, filled with piano exercises, but that's down the river a little bit. All right, what else you got, everybody? What about you, Rich? Do you have any other questions?
Let me see. Well, my next question was about you writing a book, so you already answered that one.
Oh, okay. Now, were you talking about like a book that you see in Barnes and Noble, or are you talking about like a practice book?
Just like a lessons book, like for beginners or.
Yeah, I really do want to do that. Um, that would be tricky right now, but I could see that in the foreseeable future. If I got somebody to edit the lessons for me, I would have a lot more time to do that. But not right now. I don't have quite enough money to hire somebody to do the editing, like a really good video editor. Let's see. Raider says, "How long should I practice playing piano?" A really good question. So you should practice piano depending on what your goals are. So if you're just starting out, it's your like first couple of weeks, you can probably put in 15 minutes a day, and that's probably enough to learn the very basics. But as you advance throughout the months, I would bump it up to half an hour pretty quick, maybe within the first month or two. And then if you are trying to become more advanced, I would say shoot for an hour each day. And then if you're trying to get like really, really, really good and a professional, 2, 3 or 4 hours is another question. If you're trying to become world famous, I've seen as high as 8 hours. I have a student I've taught over Skype quite a few times, and excuse me, my allergies got me again, but he's just doing really, really well. All right, let's see what we got here. How long should you practice piano? So the point was, sorry, I lost the track of my thought there because the allergies got me. But he practices like 8 hours a day, and he's doing that well. That was the point, is that how long he practiced. So it's really nice to see him progressing that way. I have a recording of his that I'm going to put up on the website pretty soon, and I'll let all of you know when I get it up there. I have it done, so it should only take a few minutes to finally get it uploaded and posted on the website. All right, let's see what else we got. Experiences. All right, anybody else in the chat? Oh, here comes one. Question for Rich. I've seen how you've developed into a real good piano player and participating in all of these live sessions for a long time. How much time do you put into your piano weekly?
I'd say I practice about 2 hours a day, depending on my mood. Sometimes I'm not in a very good mood, but I always try to force myself to play it maybe at least half an hour. I always want to at least do something. I don't want to waste a day. But yeah, usually it's about 2 hours a day, maybe 4 hours if I'm really really in a good mood. I'm excited to play. If I have a new sheet book, or if I see continuous progress, like I've noticed that my sight reading's gotten a lot better than it has been. So that really gets me motivated to keep playing.
Yeah, that's really good. What would you say the number one tip you have for sight reading is for everybody else?
Hmm. I would say like you always say, play slowly, because at first when I first started playing, I used to speed up. I try to play at the composer's speed, and that would just be a disaster. Then I'd get upset, and then I'd get discouraged, and I wouldn't want to sight read anymore. But I do it very slowly, maybe 40 beats per minute or 50. If it's really simple, then I try to put it to 60. do it slowly, I've noticed that my progress has increased.
Yeah, very, very good advice. How often do you think somebody should sight read?
I would say daily. Uh, I have some note reading apps, some chord reading apps on my phone. So I just do it whenever I'm bored or I'm traveling somewhere. I do it daily. There, there's no shortcuts when it comes to sight reading. It's like learning a new language. So you have to just look at the notes, and it has I don't know, you have to recognize it right away. And the only way to get better is to do it daily. It has to become a ritual.
Yeah, exactly. What's so for other people who weren't in the other live streams we've had, what are some of the apps that you recommend for sight reading?
I have an app called Tenuto. It's part of that website you always recommend, musictheory.net.
Mm-hmm.
It's their app. Their website is free, but because they give you such a variety of resources and information, it's good to just I don't know. I would like to support the site. Sometimes, like I support you, I like to support once in a while. But that app is pretty good. I have an app called Music Notes. I don't know if that's the generic title or that's the title on every phone, but it's called Music Notes, and it's just a sight reading app. You have various settings. You can put ledger lines. You can put different key signatures. So it's pretty good.
All right, very nice, very nice. So check those out. Those are on Android, is that right?
I have it on my iPhone.
Oh, iPhone. Okay, so check it out on iPhone. Let's see here. Hal James, welcome, welcome, Hal. Asks how long to learn to sight reading. So how long does it take to learn how to sight read? So Rich, you said within a couple of months you started to get the hang of it a little bit more. Was that right?
It took me a long time. I would say hmm, maybe the first 6 months I was able to play simple songs, but now I'm able to play a little more complicated pieces. But it's just an ongoing thing. You have to constantly do it. It takes years. I assume it took you a while to get it as well.
Yeah, it took me a really long time. My sight reading could still use a little bit of work, but yeah, I got good at sight reading. Actually, after I left college, I made a point to get good at sight reading, and every day for probably 6 months, I practiced it, like a lot of it, again and again and again, and I got a lot better. So it does take a lot of time. You're just hammering away at it, and you just have to make the time for it each day. It's not as scary as it seems once you get the hang of it, and of course, it gets more rewarding if you're able to play something, the first try.
Can you sight read like complicated pieces like I don't know, like a Beethoven or a Debussy? Or
Hmm.
it takes you a while to get it.
That's a good question. It would probably take me a little while. We can test it out. Let's see if I have anything I don't really know yet. Let's see here. Come on.
As long as there's no 16th notes, I'm able to sight read at a decent slow speed. But if there's 16th notes, I really have to slow down and really analyze it.
Yeah, this one has 30-second notes in it. That one's kind of hard to read though, so I'm not going to do that one. Oh, there's the well tempered clavier. And I think in one of the live streams I sight read part of one of these. But say there's one I've never played before. I've never played Prelude 3 before. So let's see how it works. So obviously the first thing I have to keep in mind is what key signature we're in. Let's see. Does it have all seven? It looks like it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're probably in C sharp major. So I'm just going to kind of make a mental note that everything is sharped and make makes it a little bit easier to digest. So let's see here. I'm going to play it obviously really, really slow. The E sharps. And then that's as far as I'm going to go. So kind of. I was able to at least play through it. Just a couple of mistakes there. Beethoven would probably be pretty similar result. You know, anything real slow, and I could probably get most of the scale patterns and arpeggios and things like that.
You know what's weird? On my end, I couldn't hear it because I have my TV on mute because I don't want there any feedback to be on our call. So all I heard was you banging on the keys. I didn't hear anything. So I guess I have to watch the video after we're done.
Oh, right, right, yeah, because that wouldn't come through. All that's coming through is the microphone on Skype. So yeah, you'll have to check that out. But it went okay. I could work on my sight reading a little bit, but that's about what I can do. I'm sure if I did it every day, because I haven't been practicing every day like I should be, well, considering everything that's going on, it's pretty understandable. But if I was back into it every day, I could get quite a bit better at it. I think it's like riding a bike. Let's see here. We have the real Shesk. Uh, Question for you both: will you each be putting a video of you playing one day soon, and have you ever considered playing something together over the internet? I don't know how that would work, only because a lot of things Skype. Well, Skype is pretty direct, but I still think there's a couple of milliseconds delay, so that would make it pretty difficult. Now we could play a two-part piano piece. You could record it, Rich, at one tempo, or we could both play it at the exact same tempo. And so long as we did that, I could mix both tracks together. That way, it would work. But as far as doing like a concert or something like that, that'd be kind of tricky to do. Let's see. Will you each day be putting up a video? You'll be playing a song. So, Shesk, Rich has I don't know, like 5 videos you playing, or do you have more than that?
Uh, yeah, it's about maybe 7 or 8 videos. Not very good, but it's fun for me.
Yeah. So check them out, Shesk. What's your channel's name, Rich?
Let me see. I don't even remember. I guess it'll be the same name, Rich Bryant.
Oh,
Just
okay.
look, search piano.
So if you search that up, hopefully you can find it. He has some. I thought they were pretty good. Um, they're
I
not
think
bad at all,
my
actually.
favorite is the Rocky song, the Mickey one. That really took me a long time to master it. Well, not master, but get at a good level. The song's about maybe 4 or 5 pages. That was my toughest uh, song to learn.
Yeah, I remember looking at that one. That one definitely wasn't easy. All right, let's see.
Can I ask you a question about ledger lines?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to practice sight reading. I want to learn at least 4 ledger lines above and below the staff. Do I have to go beyond that, or four ledger lines is enough to practice on?
4 ledger lines is definitely enough. I would say 3 is probably enough in 95% of the cases. But yeah, if you want to go up to 4, you won't have to know any more than that. Normally, what they will do instead of writing it any higher than that is they'll write 8 VA over it, just indicating 1 octave higher. Because eventually the notes get impossible to read. To write the last C, on the piano, that would be extremely high up there. But yeah, I would say 4 is probably more than enough. 3 would be great. But 4, you would definitely have more than you would probably ever need. Okay.
Do you want me to just fire off my questions, or you want me to wait?
Let me read off one more question here. We have Ben Steve says, right now I'm working on River Flows in You. I seem to have uh, a ton of people, over a dozen I think, have commented on the videos saying that they are learning that piece. And it looks pretty difficult towards the end of the song. I can only play half the song. I feel like there are too many notes towards the end. So, Ben, or Steve, I'll just call you Ben. So that song, I've actually never played it myself. I know the song sounds like, but it could be above your level, or what I would do is instead of practicing from the beginning of the song all the time, because you're probably the best at that, right? You probably started learning at the beginning of the song and then have more and more trouble as it goes through. If that's the case, what I would do is when you start practicing, start from the last line and just practice that last line. And then, if there are any mistakes in it, go over them. And then once you feel like that line's good, work your way backwards to that next line. And do this when you first sit down and practice, because that your attention span will be at the highest, your concentration levels will be at their highest, and you'll be able to absorb the information a little bit better. So I would do those right at the beginning, the harder part. So you never want to just start at the beginning all the time. I mean, at first it makes sense, right? Where else are you going to start rather than the beginning? But after a few weeks of practicing, I would start from the end of the song and work your way back towards the beginning. That will help make the later parts of the song just as good as the middle parts and just as good as the beginning. So that's what I recommend for Ben. If that's Ben, if that's not what I was talking about, just clarify, and I can enlighten both of us hopefully. So that one person asked, how long will it take you to be able to play a whole song without messing up? Well, it depends on the song. We had a similar question in the last live stream. But let's see here. Hold on, everybody. There we go. Okay. A whole song without messing up. So if it was something like Mary Had a Little Lamb, I can probably do that without messing up pretty easily. But being able to play something like For Elise without messing up at all, I still mess up when I play For Elise. It's almost guaranteed if I play the entire thing, like right there, well, I wasn't really paying attention, but I will mess up something. So it's kind of a tricky question. Now, it takes me, so if I was playing a song and I was getting this ready for a concert for release, now I would practice this many, many, many times each day. Again, when I first sit down to practice, going over the toughest parts first and, working through it very methodically. I would do this probably for a good 2 to 3 months before, practicing every day, maybe for an hour, the piece itself for an hour. Do it every day for, maybe like 3 months to prepare. So that's how long it would take me to get this, something like this or tougher, to be concert ready, where it has very few mistakes. Like I said, almost anything I play has some kind of mistake that pops in there at some point. Okay, let's see here. All right, Rich, any other questions you got?
All right, let me check my list here. I wanted to come prepared for the stream. Let's see here. All right, can you tell us about a piano teacher that you've had that had a great impact on your music? Are there any interesting stories about that teacher and your experience with him or her?
Yeah. So I had a teacher when I was much younger. Actually, until I turned 18 when I went to college. His name was Stuart Armstrong, or it still is. He's still around, I'm pretty sure. I should go should go see him pretty soon. But he had a great impact on me. He really kept me going. He taught me from the time I was 6 years old, and then helped me actually get into music school. And so he was a really big help. He didn't really push me to be a music major. I just kind of told him I wanted to be that one day, and then he was very excited, but at the same time terrified, since we had to get ready for the audition. and he's a nice guy. He has really brilliant white hair, and he's always had it since he was really young. So it's not like he just had it when he was old. And it's just like one of the outstanding features about his appearance. But he was always nice to me. He was tough on some of the other students. It would actually some of the other students before I would start playing for him. I would get there a little bit early. He would actually make like little girls cry and a lot of kids cry. So he was a little tough on them for not practicing. I'm a bit more laid back as a teacher. I should be a little more tough on the practicing, although I'm a lot better than I was when I started for sure. But he would always tell me the same. A lot of music teachers have like stories that they tell every student. One of his was about making music, and that music isn't just music is like making spaghetti. I think I'm trying to remember this. This won't be perfect, but he's like, you can make spaghetti with just sauce and noodles, but then you can also spice it up with some spices, some Parmesan cheese, some meatballs and things like that. So you're just kind of making a point that music isn't just notes on a page. That there's a lot more to it than that. But that was always the story he told, and he owned a farm, and not a whole lot of exciting stories about him. Trying to think. One time he sprayed. What is that stuff? Like, what is it? So anyway, you have eye drops, and then you have like breath drops. And one time he put breath drops in his eyes, and they're like full of alcohol. So it like burned his eye. His eye was like really red for a long time. He got kicked by a horse one time, and it broke his ribs, I think, because he owned a horse farm. So those are the most exciting
Wow.
things I can remember with him. But luckily he's alive, and he survived all that. So that's the one teacher I had, and then the other teacher I had was Dr. Craig in Westchester University, and he was just an amazing professor. He took on so many responsibilities and never really complained about it, and just overall great guy and an inspiring guy. Oh whoa, let's see. John is here, asking questions here. Let me get to some of his questions. But yeah, so those were the teachers that inspired me. I'll talk to you more about Dr. Craig at a later time, everybody. But let's take a look here. John asks, "Hey Tim, I started my first semester of college, and unfortunately, I am unable to bring my piano to my dorm room. Therefore, in the beginning of the semester, I had a practice schedule, but trying to juggle school assignments and choir practice, I had difficulty trying to maintain a consistent practice schedule. I have access to a room that is sometimes open where I can have practice piano for about 15 to 30 minutes, okay, but that is when the room is open or available. That's understandable. I went to college not long ago. Now, we had practice rooms, but we did have to share them. At first, I began to focus on learning more information on intervals on musictheory.com, but with the struggle of juggling assignments and trying to squeeze in piano practice, I had difficulty. A consistent piano schedule. Can you please share an experience that you had when you had difficulty juggling life, school assignments, and piano practice? Well, sure. College is a great example of that. But I went to school for music, so it's a little bit different because I had to as part of my curriculum. But I certainly had classes that didn't have anything to do with music, but really helped me out, like microeconomics and statistics and things like that. So sure, I had to juggle taking all those courses, all the music courses, practicing hours and hours and hours a day, like 4 hours each day, getting ready for recitals, getting ready for finals, all kinds of exams, like where you have to go and sight singing exams for the orals courses. So in college, I majored in music. So basically, let me try to break it down. So we had to, first of all, as a music student, had to take way more courses than all the other majors because our courses weren't worth 3 credits like everybody else's were. They were only worth like half of a credit or 1 credit or 2 credits. And you would think, well, something that's worth 2 credits would certainly be less work than something that's worth 3 credits, or something that's worth half a credit can't be as much work as something that's worth 3 credits. Wrong. Some of these courses that were worth half of a credit were it just took so much more time to get the information down, and mainly because these courses were like the instrument courses and the things I didn't really know about as well already. So just because it was worth half of a credit doesn't mean it was only worth, a very small, 1/6 of the amount of 3 credit courses. In fact, a lot of 3 credit courses were easier. Piano lessons, which took up a lot of time, a ton of time, probably hundreds of hours throughout the semester, that was only worth 2 credits. So at least they gave you two, but it was only worth two. That was far more work than anything that was worth three or anything like that. But anyway, I had to juggle all that stuff, and it was really, really tough for me to find the time to practice. Now, what I did is I woke up early in the morning to go practice, like at 6 a.m. I don't know how you feel about getting up or whether that would help your situation in any way. But I got up at 6 a.m. And when I walked into the music building, it was open all the time if you had the card swipe. But I would be one of the first people in there, because when I would go on, the automatic light sensors would kick on, and the lights would like turn on for the first time, and then they'd be on for the rest of the morning because people would walk through the hallway. But I would get there and practice, and that's actually how I found the time to practice, because I figured if I got the practicing done then the rest of the day, yeah, I should probably go back and practice again later in the day. But even if I didn't have that chance, I at least got that practice done in the morning. So that's how I did that. Now, like I said, I majored in music, so having access to practice rooms was better. Like I could get in there for more time than you're describing. But still, sometimes you would walk by and there wouldn't be any open. So I certainly understand the struggle of not having access to one all the time. Um, but yeah, college was a perfect example of balancing my life for the first time, because I was really terrible at it when I first got there. Probably got like B's and C's. I got a couple of D's in a couple of courses, but then as I progressed, probably the latter half, the second 2 years, I did a lot better. I made Dean's List. I got A's and B's, and I don't think any C's or D's or anything like that. So I gotten a lot better at managing my time by the end. And then obviously today, I teach people locally, and in addition to all the work that goes behind that, because some students, you'll run into a snag and you'll have to kind of come up with a lesson plan on how to deal with that. So between that and then driving to the lesson and teaching the lesson, and then doing all the stuff for the YouTube channel and the website and all the things that go into that, it's I probably have more to do now than I did when I was in college. So I do a lot of balancing now, and that's basically one of the tips I can give you is, if you're not a morning person and you want to get a lot of things done that you don't have a chance to get done, become a morning person. I get the most work done in the morning, and I do that on purpose because, like I said, as the day wears on, the more and more opportunities come up to where I mess up, and I just won't be able to find the time, or something comes up that's out of my control. But certainly not all of us have the morning time, so especially if you have to get to work in the morning, you might not be able to fit it in, or if you have class early in the morning. But I recommend trying to get something done in the morning, like something important done every morning when you wake up. That way it's out of the way. But yeah, those are some examples of how I've had to balance a lot of things in my life. Okay, let's see. All right. I think that's all of John's question. That one person asked, what songs would you recommend for beginners? Mary Had a Little Lamb is a bit too easy. I want to play songs and practice, but I can't do hard songs yet, nor do I want to do very easy ones. Very good question. So hold on a second. Sorry, the allergies are back. Any normal difficulty songs you can recommend? Oh, you're very welcome, John. Normal difficulty songs. Let me think about this. What songs would you recommend for beginners? Mary Had a Little Lamb is too easy. That one person, have you tried any of the John Thompson, or not? Well, John Thompson's a good one too. or the Alfred's Adult Series piano books, because those have a lot of songs that you can play. But you know what? On my website, never mind. I mean, you can do that still. It's still a good option. But let me go to my website and check out what we have. Okay. Here we go. Why is my website loading all weird on this? Alright, anyway, let's check this out. Loaded up on Google Chrome. Not sure what the problem is with Internet Explorer, but it works a lot better here. Alright, so here we go. What you can learn. And the reason I'm doing this is I can go to like playing the piano level 1, and here are a list of songs that I recommend that are easy-ish, but not insane to play. So things like a Tisket a Tasket. Oh, there's the email list. A Tisket a Tasket, but that one's pretty easy as well. But you can start with that. Ode to Joy by Beethoven. You can find a lot of easier versions of Ode to Joy. With any of these, just type in the name of the song plus sheet music. And then March Slav. You know, makingmusicfun.net used to have all of these for free, and now they actually charge a couple of dollars, maybe $1.50 for each one. Still not a bad deal, but I liked it when it was a lot better when it was free. But I understand not everything can be free for sure. Musette by Bach. I think that's this one. Something like that. And then Air by Mozart. Rage Over a Lost Penny by Beethoven, All Through the Night, Amazing Grace, Au Clair de la Lune, and Happy Birthday is not a bad song. That's like a little bit higher than the song that the songs that you were talking about here. Let's see here. Let me see here. Yeah, Mary Had a Little Lamb is way too easy. So if you want to even find more songs, so if you go on the website pianolessonsontheweb.com, you just click on if you hover your mouse over Music Academy information, or if you click it on tablet, and you go to what can you learn, just go through the first few piano levels, like introduction to piano music, playing the piano level 1, playing the piano level 2, and just see the songs listed for those. Those are the ones that are actually included in the Academy. I actually show you how to play these. But these are a list actually that I recommend of songs if you want to try to find them on your own. Okay, let's see. One more question, and then we'll get Rich back in here. Brett says, I recently got a piano and following your earlier videos, and I'm on the G major scale videos. So I was wondering if I should perfect the examples or just be able to play them efficiently before moving on. You don't need to be perfect at them, but what I do recommend is, let's see, is that you're able to play through them with very few mistakes. So maybe only one mistake or so. Like I said, it's very hard to play things through and make 0 mistakes at all. But I would be able to play them smoothly from beginning to end at a slow to medium tempo, with maybe one mistake or none at all would be perfect. But that's what I recommend. So close to perfection, but not quite. You don't have to be obsessed over it. And then how about the one person says, thank you very much. You're very welcome. All right, Rich, let's see. Do you have any other questions for us?
Yeah. My question is, do you ever go through periods where you start to regress and make mistakes you normally wouldn't make? I go through this a lot, and I just wonder, what do you do to get out of that mindset?
That's a good question. So do I, okay. Do I go through periods of regression? Yes. Yeah, and then I make mistakes. There'll be like certain things I master over time, and then I'll run into them, and then I just can't quite play them right. I need to like kind of refigure them out, And then there are mistakes, like things that I've really worked to correct, where I'll still make the mistake every so often, and sometimes I'll just be having an off day or an off week sometimes, and I'll just make mistakes I usually don't. Sometimes it depends on what else is going on, in my life, if I'm distracted by anything else. And how do I get out of that mindset? That's a good question. Uh, hmm. Well, first I guess I would just relax about it, because I think a lot of times the more frustrated I get with something, the more I mess it up. Sometimes, even with playing video games or playing piano or almost anything, if I'm sitting down and I'm getting really frustrated with it, sometimes what I'll do is I'll get up for like 10 minutes and go do something else for like 10 minutes, maybe even up to an hour or a couple hours if I'm really, really frustrated. And then I'll come back to it and try it again. And then a lot of times, I'm able to, approach it a lot better. And I'll, if I'm say I'm trying to be a boss in some video game, and I like get really frustrated and I leave it alone and I come back to it a while later, I'll just beat it like first try, like coming back to it. So that's what I recommend sometimes, if you is to try to eliminate frustration, because I feel like, at least for me, that destroys any progress I have, and then you get that mental seed in your mind that you can't like overcome the problems that you're having. So just deal with it your best. Just know that it's not always, it isn't always directly piano related. Like, obviously, if you're low in sleep or something's going on, that will affect it as well. But if you're getting frustrated, I would get up every once in a while. Focus on something else. Eat a sandwich or something, watch TV, and then come back and try it one more time.
The reason why I ask is I've been having trouble with my hand placement when I play. Like I never thought about it before, and then I record myself and notice that my hand would dip low, like maybe towards the bottom of the keys, and it doesn't feel like that when I'm playing. So now I notice that I'm really focused on my hand placement. It's kind of I don't know. It's messing me up. I'm starting to make mistakes because I'm so focused on my hand placement. I'm trying to record myself to see where my hands are, and now I'm like obsessed. So it's kind of hindering my progress.
Yeah, obsession could definitely do that, because obsession, a lot of times, at least for me, leads to frustration, because you really try to be on top of something, and because you're focusing on it so much, you make other mistakes, and it also just makes it less fun. So even though you do see a problem with your hand position, if it's getting in the way of, if it's making other mistakes, then I know it's easier said than done, but I guess, I don't know. It does sound important. Like, I wouldn't forget about that altogether, but um, what I would do is, to correct that problem, is I would practice it through, maybe a couple times, looking after your hand position, making sure that everything is in the appropriate position, like how far you're sitting and all that, things like that, and making sure your hands high enough. And then what I would do is I would actually play the song or example or whatever you're doing another time, just for fun, like not even thinking about the mistakes you could make. Just say, I don't even really have a goal on like where I want to not make mistakes or whatever. I just want to play through it and have fun, and just kind of let loose and see if, when you play it, then you can play it any better. Just kind of just saying, at least for this one playthrough, or these few playthroughs, I'm just going to try to forget about just making mistakes, just trying not to be afraid to make mistakes, and just see where the cards fall, and just try and play through it, and have some fun with it.
All right, thanks, Tim.
You're welcome. And let's see here. Yaman asks, I had a question. Is a 61 key piano too less for someone who is beginning, or should I have gone with more? What songs will I not be able to play with this handicap? Too less for somebody beginning. What songs? Well, with 61 keys is a little small. 70, whatever the next one is, 71, 73, I don't remember the exact number, is a little bit better. What songs are you limited to? Let me think about what that would be. That would be like there. I would say you can play probably 80% of songs out there. The only thing you probably wouldn't be able to do is if the song said to play something 8 VA, so which is one octave higher, like they had really, really high notes up there. You wouldn't be able to play some of those higher notes. But honestly, you could, if you're just starting out, you could learn piano for a few months and get away with that keyboard, maybe even up to a year. Because for release, I'm trying to see if it goes out of that range. Maybe up there. You could play 99% of for release. Maybe like one of the last notes you wouldn't be able to hit at the very end. But you could play a lot of songs with that, especially as a beginner. But I do recommend 88 weighted keys is optimal for sure. And then Raider asks, which video games do I play? I don't play video games as much recently, for sure. But I always liked RPGs the best. Western RPGs and Japanese RPGs. I played. I remember when Skyrim was out in 2011. I played a lot of Skyrim because I just graduated from college. Maybe 6 months before, and I played a ton of Skyrim for like 2 years, and then I don't know. After that, I played a few games. I played a lot of retro games as well. Let's see here. Aaron Brown says, "Hello from South Korea. I came here so late. I guess it's almost over. Yeah, in a little bit. In a few minutes here. Let's see. A couple of minutes. Well, probably maybe even 5 or 10 minutes. We'll give it. Let's see. Real Chef says, yeah, 58 miles, same prime Fridays, Sundays. Thank you, Shesk. Aaron says, hey, Tim, would you say that writing music helps with learning to read faster? I know so many signs, so I started doing this exercise, so many songs. So when I started doing this exercise where I write down simple songs, I already know as sheet music. Would you say that writing music helps with learning to read faster? I would, only because when you're writing music, you have to know what notes you're writing down, and you're just making that connection with your brain even more. Like instead of just playing the note, you're actually writing the note there, and you're making the connection that like, okay, that second line of the treble clef is E or G. That's what it is. The second line of treble clef is G. So your brain will make that connection. And so I would say overall, yes. Raider says, yeah, Skyrim's awesome. Yaman says, thanks, man. Just wanted to come here and say thank you for your advice and lessons you have put up. It helps so much. Well, thank you, Yaman. Thank you for stopping by. By the way, if you text piano to 43506, let me make sure that's the right number. I'm still getting used to this. 43506. Basically, what that will do is you will get a reminder on your phone, text message, before we begin, as like a little extra reminder. But you're very welcome. All right, and then what about you, Rich? You got any other questions?
Oh yeah, I have several questions. You're gonna have to cut me off whenever you feel necessary.
Okay.
Let me see. Look at my list here. Uh, okay. If you could go back in time, is there anything you would have done differently with your life?
Oh, that's a big one. Is there anything I would have done differently? A few years ago, I would have said some things, but I don't know. Now that I've started the website and the YouTube channel and the local piano teaching business, it's like if the mistakes I made helped me get on the path I am on now, then I think they were all worth it. Now, obviously, there are some things like you're a teenager, you're in your early 20s or whatever, like things you just do or say to people that are things you're not so proud of. For sure, I have some of those. But as far would I redo any of it, or would I avoid any of those mistakes? Probably not. I guess like only because I feel like what this is turning into is pretty good for me. So I guess it's all about what you do after. any of the things I would, want to redo. It was the actions I took after that just kind of made me feel like it was probably worth it. Some of the mistakes I probably could have avoided, and I'd still be in the same place I am today. But most of them, I would say I stick with. So no, there's not really a whole lot, that I would do a lot differently.
I had a comment on about that person that put the question: Is 61 keys enough for a keyboard?
Yeah,
Uh, if In my opinion, I think if you're an absolute beginner, it's a good idea to get a 61 key keyboard because you don't want to shell out $500 or $600 for a keyboard and then maybe you lose the passion for playing. So I would get maybe a 61 key keyboard since it's relatively cheap, and then you can just practice, do simple songs, and see if you really have a love for piano where you want to continue. Maybe get a better model of keyboard. Was because when I first started, I wanted to get an 88 key keyboard, the top of the line Yamaha. My girlfriend stopped me. She said, "You don't even know if you like piano, so why don't we get the simple one, the 61 key keyboard first, and see how you like it, and then from there, then you decide if you want something better." So I think that's a good idea if you're starting out.
yeah, I think that's great advice. I didn't quite think about it that way, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, if you're starting out and you're not sure, whether playing piano is for you, I mentioned that in the last live stream too, but it's a really good point. You want to make sure that playing the piano is for you, and it takes a few months. So your first few months, when you don't really need a huge piano anyway. I guess you might as well get something a little bit smaller because you're right. The 88 key ones cost quite a bit more, hundreds of dollars for a good one, and then thousands if you want to get something really professional. But even if you want that nice 88 key one that's good for most people, you're still gonna have to shell it a lot. So yeah, um, the cheaper one might be the way to go for starting out, and 61 keys I think would be perfect for any beginner. So that's some really good advice there. All right, Rich. Any other questions?
I do, Tim.
All
Give me 1 second.
right.
Let me see here. Okay. When you look at other YouTube piano teachers, what do you think separates your videos from theirs? Like, what do you think is missing from their videos that you're able to provide?
Oh, that's a good question. So, what do my videos provide that other YouTube piano teachers lack, and why should people watch my videos? That's a really good question. Well, I feel like that I'm one of the only people on YouTube that has made a series. If you follow my playlist on my channel, that has made a series that walk you through the very, very, very basic steps and walk you through everything you need to know up to a certain point on the YouTube channel. Obviously, continues more on the website. But I feel like I'm the only one. Like when I first started my first series, Learn to Play Piano, I re- I recognize that there was a lack of a complete series for beginners. A lot of people would make videos on subjects and then kind of jump around all over the place. And then they would jump around from something like for a beginner and then teach it. It was very topic based, which I do videos on too now. But when I first started, I wanted to make a complete collection of lessons for beginners, and now it's evolved into that along with advice for beginners as well as practice tips and things like that. So that's one thing that sets me apart. Another thing is that I have one of the best setups in my opinion. You know, I know there are some other people on YouTube who teach piano and things like that who do have the cam themselves, and you can see their hands, and it looks really nice. I think Jazz Piano, I forget what pianowithwillie.com or something like that. He has a really nice setup, and so yeah, there are people who have really nice setups, but mine is, in my opinion, anyway, one of the best. I have the best community too, but that really that really isn't so much about me as much. But let me think about maybe one more. Um, let's see.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You have a great setup for teaching, and also also you make difficult subjects simple to understand. Sometimes you'll watch a video and people will explain it to people who are watching like it's something like common knowledge when piano is not really an easy subject, but you make it seem easy to learn.
Oh, thank you, Rich. And yeah, I do try to explain it as easy as I can. I know some people, like most people, love it, but I know like some of the easier topics. I made a video called "Your First Piano Lesson," and it was like really like for nobody who's even touched a piano before. And I know some of the people commented on that video. Only a couple people that were like, "You talk to me like I'm retarded or something like that," and it's like, no, it's not what it's about. It's like, well, it's because it was that first lesson, you know, as you know, working somebody through their first time even touching a piano. But because that lesson was designed to be so simple, I was trying to explain it as clear as I could. I guess it went a little too slow, but I think it helps out for the more advanced topics because I can break them down. And everybody talks about in the comments about you know, my calm demeanor and how I approach things very calmly, and that really helps them learn as well. So I try to be as clear as I can. I also try to edit the videos a little better now, so they are a little more cohesive. So yeah, that's what I recommend that people why people visit lessons on the web rather than the others.
I definitely have a top three YouTube channels. You're number one. I like Michael New. He's really good as well.
He is.
He's good at explaining things. And Piano TV, I would say, is pretty good as well. But you're number one. I learned the most from you.
Oh, thank you, Rich. Piano TV is great. She is newer, um, but not that new. I think 2015 her channel started, but she's become more well known over the last year. We were talking about is her name Alicia?
I never know. So I think it's Alicia, but
Alicia,
I
yeah.
haven't verified it.
I apologize to her if I got her name wrong. But I noticed her videos over the summer, and her videos are actually you can tell she puts a lot of work into her videos, and I think over time, if she plays her cards right and keeps at it, she will become a bit more well known and have a bit more subscribers. But she's doing a lot better than she was even a few months ago when I started watching her videos. And then let's see here. Oh, and then the other one you mentioned, Michael New. Michael New is very good teacher. He explains things very clearly. I've seen a few of his music theory videos. I mean, I don't watch them all the way through a lot of times because I know a lot of the stuff he's explaining in them. But he has a really nice setup as well. It's a bit more simple, like a little bit less technology based, where you know he's writing on a whiteboard. But I think it's really effective, and I think his ability to explain things is great, and he gets right to the point. He doesn't waste a whole lot of time telling stories or things like that. But yeah, both of those are very good. Let's see here. It looks like we have a lot of comments. Oh, we're 10 minutes over, but let's check out the comments first. Let's see. Shesk says, text piano 43506. Thank you very much for the writing it out for me, Shesk. John says, thank you for the live stream, Tim. I look forward to becoming a part of this supportive community. Have a blessed night, everybody. Thank you, John. Yaman says, loud and clear. I bought it as a Christmas gift with the goal to, sorry, let's see here. I need to scroll this down. The promise reprise from Silent Hills. I have learned it and am currently at the half at a halt as to what to play next. Ooh. Like I said, video games are always a very good inspiration for what music to play. Chef says, I want to know what song you'll be playing us out with, Tim. Probably B-flat blues, because that's the only one that Google or YouTube doesn't flag like instantly. What's interesting is if I have like a 10-second clip of another person's song, a lot of times there are songs that I play. Like one time I played a Beethoven song. I don't know whether it's For Elise. For Elise I usually get away with, though. One of them, whenever I play it, it flags it instantly, and then I can't monetize the video at all, which is fine for one video, but I don't want to do that for all of them. Can you do a video on how to play basic jazz? I can do that. That is on my list. That won't be in the next couple of weeks, but yep, I can do a lesson on that. Let's see. Graham says, but this type of setup you have is brilliant for the advice you give. Makes it easy to understand, as Rich said. Oh, thank you very much. Other sites and hosts seem to rush through the topic and make it complex. You're the man, Tim, says Aaron. Thank you very much, everybody. Such a great community that we have grown here together over the last year. It's about a year since I first started live streaming. And if you remember, Rich probably remembers, it was like an absolute disaster because the like microphone didn't work or something, or I did part of it and the microphone was on, and somehow in the software, I wasn't using the same software I'm using now, it got shut off, and I recorded like 10-15 minutes, and it didn't come through at all, and I was really frustrated. So happy 1 year to the live stream. I feel like it's grown a lot since then, and I've kind of figured out how to do it. And a lot of you are, very involved as well, which really makes me happy. Very fortunate to have such great students here online on YouTube. All right, let's see here. Rich, how about one more question? Do you have one more?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Okay. Do you keep in contact with any of your friends from music school? Are there any interesting stories about what they're doing now?
Okay, any interesting stories about anybody I went to music school with, and do I keep in contact with them? Yes, over Facebook I do. I've met with my friend Victoria a number of times and actually went to meet her at the school, and we like walked around town and things like that in Westchester, and that was a lot of fun. Um, any interesting stories or anything about what they're doing? A lot of the people I went to school with are either a teaching school or teaching in like a public school, which is fine. That's a good job to have. And then a lot of them aren't even doing music at all. I'd say about half of them are working the really random. I know my friend Victoria now is like an EMT, like emergency services, and then a lot of other people I know. I know one guy is working at like a produce station. And he was really really good musician. He probably still is. And then a bunch of other people I knew aren't working anything in music at all. So there's actually a few, probably even less than half. I know one guy plays for Broadway plays. I don't know if they're Broadway, but some sort of very large scale, not operas, but music shows and things like that. He does that and plays for that. So I guess that's exciting. But other than that, just school teachers and just random stuff. A lot of people moved on to do something random because when we graduated, the economy was really bad in like 2009, 2010. So it took a while for it to recover. So a lot of people moved on to different careers, I think. So nothing spectacular. And then I guess I'm the only one who made an online school and YouTube channel. So yeah, I guess that's mostly what everybody's up to.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tim, for answering all my questions.
All
Next
right,
time we do this, I'll have another 20 questions lined up for you.
all right, sounds good, Rich. Thank you for making these questions, for writing them down for tonight. It was a really good discussion, and I'll end the call here, and then we'll end the live stream here in a minute. So thanks for being on call with me tonight, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks a lot, Tim. Good night.
All right, you're welcome. Good night. Okay, so we are here. Aaron, I saw before, asked, where do I live? I live on the eastern coast of the United States. Let's see. Yes, Tim, you have evolved a lot this past year. Thank you very much. With the live streams, and your live streams are serious stuff now. Well done. Thank you so much, Sheskin. Glad you could make it out with us. So I just want to say thank you to all the people who showed up tonight. Remember to text 43506 or piano to 43506 to get like a text message reminder. I think it will really come in handy. And Rich, you didn't seem nervous at all, I don't think. Maybe at first. But no, I thought you did really, really well. Your questions came through nice and coherently, unlike me sometimes. But I think we both did pretty well tonight. So I just want to say thank you to, and if I missed your name, I'm sorry. But Yaman, thank you. Rich, thank you again. Shesk, thank you very much. Aaron, thank you for coming. Shesk again. Graham, thank you for coming as always. Great to have you again. Raider, thanks for showing up again and providing us for some good questions. Let's see. John, thank you for coming by. Let's see. Aaron, thank you for stopping by. Actually, you were here pretty much the whole time, so thank you for sharing with us. That one person, thank you for being a part of the stream. Brett, thank you so much. And that one person, I think I said that before. Ben Steve, thanks for coming. Hal, thanks for showing up. And you're all welcome to come again, of course, anytime. Cutley, Pablo, Nadia, thank you all for joining us this evening. And I think that's everybody. So thanks, everybody. I like to hear somebody else do a Skype call. Shesk. So maybe if Shesk is down for it, maybe one of these times we can do that. But, anytime Shesk is able to come at all, I'll be pretty happy. So we'll talk about Skype calls in the future. I'd love to do some with some different people. Maybe even get Robin on here. If you're watching Robin, get Robin on here for one of these. Haha, I knew you'd ask. I wouldn't mind doing a Skype session with Tim. I do have some stuff to tell and talk about, but not much music performance to show. But that's okay. If you wanted to ever come in just for a discussion, if you want me to. I wasn't even thinking about spotlighting it. But if you want me to spotlight it, we can have it on the stream. I can block him. Block! You're blocked. Get out of here. Never come back. Only to T. Penrose. Everybody else can come back. But yeah, Rich, if you want me to spotlight here, by the way, they're not bad. I feel like they're actually pretty good. There's maybe like a couple of things I would change about a couple of them, but I think they sound pretty good. That'd be pretty cool. You can show what I'm doing right and wrong. Actually, that would be good if you don't if you don't mind. If you don't mind, Rich, yeah, we could show off a couple of, playthroughs, and then we can, I can kind of give you some advice in front of all of our students here. That would be great. Okay, have a great week, everybody, Graham says, and remove that from the uploaded video. They don't deserve any exposure. Yeah, you're exactly right. So I'll cut off the end for things. Shesk, the video is still going. That'd be pretty cool. You could show you what I'm doing right or wrong. Thanks for blocking him. You're welcome. You're very welcome, Bob Jones. Sorry he actually got through there. I didn't know how to block him at first. I know I'd blocked somebody a long time ago. But, I just, Shesk helped remind me that it's there. So thank you, Shesk. Shesk is always very helpful at giving me, little reminders on, the texting thing. He helped write that out today. 43506. Text piano to that. But thanks, everybody, for a great, great night. Oh, wow, by 22 minutes, guys. 22 minutes. So it was a great stream. Thank you so much for coming by tonight, and I'll talk to you again on Friday. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, John, I think we can, I think one of the lessons then we will take a look at Rich's playing, and I'll just give a few, are you outgoing with a song? Oh, good question. But yeah, we will share Rich's playing, and I can give you some pointers so you can all take a look. Art says, I'm about 2 weeks from finishing Moonlight Sonata. Maybe that can be the spotlight video. That would be really awesome. Hardest thing I've learned in my life. Moonlight Sonata is not easy. I still understand how Tim can play without looking down. It takes a long time. Real Chef says, just the fact that you're doing it, Rich, shows that you're a monster. Got him. All right, everybody. I am peacing out. Thank you so much for stopping by and being a part of the live stream. And I'll talk to you on Friday.